What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. First off, I just want to go ahead and give y'all all a huge shout out for all the love and support. And yeah, let's go and get into today's video. So my BMW from the factory did not come with iDrive, did not come with a reverse camera. And basically every newer car out there on the market does, or at least should, have a reverse camera built into the car. Overall, it just makes the entire driving experience, especially at nighttime, a whole lot easier. I consider myself somewhat of an expert at reverse parking just by using the mirrors, but you can never really tell how close you are to the car behind you, especially if you're in a situation where you have to like parallel park or something. You can never truly tell. And a reverse camera is a huge asset and is a huge help in those situations. So as you guys saw in one of my previous videos, I did install that huge touchscreen display into my car, and the software for a reverse camera already comes built into it. And I'll go ahead and leave a little link for that video right here above. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to install a reverse camera in your BMW E90, E92, or E93. So I went ahead and ordered this reverse camera off of Amazon for about 25 bucks, and it gets a lot of positive reviews. They got like 500 reviews. It was somewhere around 4 stars. So it did come in the mail yesterday, and this is basically everything it comes with. Starting off, of course, you have your user manual. So when you open this up, it gives you a little schematic basically of how you want to go ahead and wire that camera into your vehicle. Here we have the actual reverse camera itself. So by looking at it, you can tell it's fixed in a position. It snaps right into where your existing BMW handle goes. So as you can see, there's a reverse camera. Now it has this little rubberized coating on it that I wasn't a huge fan of, to be honest. I like the hard material, because when you're cleaning your car with like a microfiber, I feel like it's gonna catch this little rubber and take it off. So what I went ahead and did is I got some super glue, some crazy glue here, and I basically went ahead and glued down that rubber because it snaps right off. I glued it down to the actual camera itself. That way it doesn't come off on me in the future when my towels and stuff catch on it. So that way it'll be able to just hold in place a little bit better and be a little bit more solid. And then here on this other end, you can see this little 4-pin connector, and I'll go ahead and explain what that does in a second. You might be wondering what all these cables are going to be doing, but basically I'm going to explain it to you very simply. This right here is going to plug into where my CarPlay has a female connector. So this is going to plug straight in, and then on the other end you have these cables and this little connector. So this connector right here is actually going to get plugged into with this connector. So you can see we have our camera, our connector into our trunk, then this connector into here, and then from there we're going to plug in this connector into the vehicle's CarPlay unit where it already has a female one hooked into. The last piece that it comes with is this. I believe this sends some sort of signal. Basically, I don't know what it does exactly, but this is basically going to wire in to where you see this red and black. The blue and the red on this cable are going to plug into the red on this one like that. These three are going to connect, and then you're going to have the ground with the ground connecting there. Sweet, guys, so that was just basically an overhaul of everything that came with the camera and just a basic rundown of how you hook up everything and how it works. So now let's actually go ahead and head out to the car, and yeah, let's go ahead and install this reverse camera. Alright guys, so the first thing you want to go ahead and do is remove this little trunk liner that's covering up all the cables and etc. that are back there. If you guys have one of these little metal pry tools, it's super convenient, but you can basically just fit it just like that. Pop it out right there, just like that. Cool, so you guys should have about 8 of these little connector sets that plug in that little trunk liner. The next thing you want to go ahead and do, there should be 2 of these holding in the trunk liner as well. They're like bump stops for the rear bumper, so you want to go ahead and just twist these counterclockwise to get them off. So now from here you should just be able to pull this off. Now we have the liner removed, so we went ahead and took off the 2 little bump stops. And from here, these little parts right here are basically going to hook in to the top of the trunk. So that's probably going to be the hardest part to get out. So really your objective is just to get these unhooked. The new handle's not going to go in if you have like a license plate frame or anything, so just go ahead and remove that. Go ahead and clean back there while you're there. Our license plate and everything like that is removed, so we should have full access to where the handle is at. And now as you guys can see, we have nothing obstructing it, so we can actually just go ahead and pop out the handle. And you're basically just going to grab where it's at, and there's these little prongs, just like that. Push it out from the back, right here. Then we have our little connector that we're going to go ahead and unplug. Now that our old camera is removed, we can go ahead and grab our new one, and we're basically just going to go ahead and snap this into place where that one was. Cool, so first thing we're going to go ahead and do is just plug in this little connector, so it literally is just going to snap right into place. So right there, snap it into place. Cool. Now from there we can actually put our camera in position, and you're basically just going to go through and thread all those cables through. That way they're all on the inside, and then we're going to rock this back and snap it into place. So now I have that connector here, so Just two little arrows on both of these, and basically just plugs together just like that. So we're gonna put that off to the side. All right guys, so next thing I'm doing is basically I have this little yellow male connector that's gonna plug into my CarPlay harness. I went ahead and just dropped my rear seat and basically just threaded this cable to the front. The only thing that's not connected is the actual power source, but everything else is routed. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now is get these two cables that attach to this connector, and we're basically gonna splice it onto here. This red and blue cable that attaches to the little signal receiver is gonna attach to the positive terminal that we have here. So it's basically gonna look like this, and these three are gonna attach, and then the ground or the black is gonna attach with the black right there. So what I went ahead and did is I bought this little 4-way crimper. These are super handy anytime you're doing any sort of electrical work, but we're gonna go ahead and get these little heat shrinks on there. And what we're gonna go ahead and do is basically try to expose some more of this wire. We're gonna do the same thing to the rest of them as well. Cool, just like that, so where the wires are all exposed. Then we're gonna go ahead and get our red one over here and do the same thing. Now once this is all connected, guys, you're gonna make sure it's all nice and tight in there, and you're gonna grab your crimper and you're gonna go ahead and crimp the middle portion. Just like that, nice and tight, then let go. And I like to crimp it from multiple spots, just so I know it's really in there. And do the back part too. So now we're gonna get our two grounds here, and we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing. Sweet, so now you guys can see I did the same thing on both sides. I'm gonna get a lighter and heat shrink that off. Cool guys, so all we're gonna go ahead and do to heat shrink this is basically get the cable and apply a flame right there to the open part. And you can see it's gonna start getting smaller and smaller. And you're basically just gonna heat shrink this whole blue part. I'm gonna pull it through here to the back side right there. Basically gonna zip tie that excess back here. Just like that. I'm gonna zip tie that excess through. So to plug this in, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is how I have mine routed to my CarPlay. I'm gonna go ahead and remove my little dash piece here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove my trim. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my plastic pry tool here, insert it in my trim, get it in there, pop this off, just like that. Over here on the back side of the connector, we're gonna go ahead and disengage our push start. And as you guys can see, for the push start connector, be very careful with it, but you're literally just gonna push these little two pins in, and it'll detach from the back of the actual push start. As you guys can see, I have my cables routed for my CarPlay. Is I have them all zip tied right here. Guys, what I'm gonna do to route this is I'm basically gonna take off this little cover here, and I just kind of fed that cable back through here, and I'm just gonna feed it here on the underside of these air vents and route it all the way through to the actual head unit. We're gonna come in through this little vent space. So we're gonna grab this hanger, we're gonna feed it through as much as we can. There it is. There's a little metal plate right here. You're gonna come in through the side right there. Then you're gonna literally come across the top. Just like that. We're gonna break it in, break it off. So now we're gonna get that hanger out, just like that. Sweet, so now we have our cable, guys, and we can see it all bypasses perfectly fine. All right guys, so we're doing the same exact thing that we did back there up here. So we have our red power cable that connects to our little yellow connector there. And so we're crimping it. We did the same thing. Here, if you look closely, this purple pinkish cable here, it's actually labeled cam power. So that's actually gonna be the power cable to the camera. So basically we're bypassing having to wire in anything to the head unit, do anything crazy to the tail lights. We can literally plug this in straight into there. So I went ahead and threaded all this out, and we're literally gonna crimp it on just like we did the last one. What I basically did was connected that power cable, this pink one right there, to this red one that comes onto this male connector. And so now that's plugged in, I just zip tied this whole bundle together with just enough slack to move it off to the side. That way it doesn't interfere with any of my air vents or etc. So we're gonna go ahead and pop the key in and go ahead and make sure on our screen that it works. Our little connected drive is gonna pop up. We're gonna let it do its thing, and then all I'm gonna do is basically throw it in reverse, and you should see that the camera is working. Bam, just like that, it works. As I move the wheels slightly, you can see that the little guidelines are moving, so all that's set up correctly. All right, so what I did to go ahead and route this cable, so on the back end, after I kind of zip tied everything to the top of the trunk, I went ahead and lifted up this rear cushion. So what I went ahead and did is I routed it, I dropped the seats, and I routed the cable down through there to the side of this cushion, and then down around the outside of this seat. I went ahead and just lifted it up. So far we gone down through here, and now I'm basically gonna tuck it into the side right here. So one thing I'm gonna say, guys, when you're routing this cable, route it to the outside of the seatbelt. If you route it on the inside, you're gonna have to remove your seatbelt bolt like I did here, otherwise it's gonna be showing. So you're gonna route it to the inside and then the seatbelt here. So just make sure you're doing that, though you don't have to remove the bolt like I did. And you're basically just gonna go along the rest of this trim piece. So most of this cable, you can literally go in just like this. You don't even have to remove the trim panel itself. You can literally just move it in there just like this. We're literally gonna do the same thing right here to this panel. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do is undo my push start button just like that, and be careful not to let this connector fall back in there. I get my freaking push start button and push it through right here. So now I'll just push that off to the side, and now we're gonna go ahead and install this last trim piece. Cool, so from here, I'm basically just gonna get this trim piece, go in from the left first, and make sure I clear all the cables. First thing you go ahead and do from the back is just attach your push start button. Sweet, just like that. And now from here, we're gonna go ahead and push in our trim piece and make sure it buckles in completely. Well guys, that's how you install a reverse camera in your BMW E90, E92, or E93, and it really is such a game changer. I mean, having a reverse camera is just overall so much safer. Now you can tell the distance from cars behind you, and it makes the whole driving process just so much easier. I mean, if you ever have to parallel park or you're in any major cities or anything like that, it's so convenient having a reverse camera and being able to judge the distance of the car behind you and etc. As well, it really does add such a modern touch to the car. I would highly recommend you guys install the same CarPlay unit that I have in my vehicle. I'll leave a link down below for the video on that, and also the exact one that I purchased. And I would definitely recommend that you guys install this reverse camera as soon as y'all can. If you guys found this video helpful, go and smash that thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any questions at all. Be sure to respond. As always, go ahead and visit the description. I'll have a link of all the merchandise that I purchased and that I used down below. If you're not subscribed, go and smash the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so y'all can stay updated on all the videos that I have to come. As always, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.